Hey everybody, it's Randy from Armach Guitars. Welcome to my intro episode for the Great Guitar Build-Off of 2023. I'm really excited about this year's Great Guitar Build-Off, and not just because last year's was so amazing and so much fun. I've been waiting 5 years to build this guitar. Yeah, 5 years. As soon as I saw the countdown clock for the GGBO23 site, I finally allowed myself to start figuring out what the guitar would look like. I know it sounds a little bit weird to think of a guitar for 5 years and not know what it's going to look like, but that's because this guitar isn't about the look as much as it is about the sound. So why 5 years? Well, 5 years ago I was living in an apartment in New York City. And I really wanted to get back into guitar building, which was a whole other story. And I hadn't been playing and I wasn't building anything. And I was kind of sort of really itching to get back into it. I was going to have to buy a place and buy the tools, and I was going to have to start from scratch all over again. And it was a lot to invest. It was going to be a lot of work. And before I'm going to do something like that, I asked myself, if I'm going to do it, what am I going to bring to the table? And the truth is that I didn't really have much of an answer. So in the middle of all that, while I was trying to figure all that stuff out, I was taking a trip to San Diego, California in order to check something off of my bucket list, which was to go see the Hale telescope at the Mt Palomar Observatory in San Diego, California. Anyway, when I was a kid, I read this book called The Perfect Machine. And it's about the building of that telescope. And if you ever get a chance to read it, you should. It's really good. So this is something I like to do from time to time. It's just basically pick up a brush, some paint, and play around with some lines. I find that it really gets the creative juices going and takes some of the pressure off. And here I'm not really looking for a literal interpretation of the guitar. I'm just kind of sort of looking for the flow. Think of it as the guitar's spirit animal. So anyway, there I am in California, and I finally got to see this thing, and it was amazing. And it was on that trip that I kind of sort of realized what it is that I wanted to do. I wanted to do for musicians what that telescope had done for astronomers. I wanted something that expanded what the guitar can do. I had no idea how I was going to do that, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. Well, I had a little bit of an idea. So yeah, over the last 5 years, going back and forth with my friend Andy Barrow, who's one of the most amazing guitar players and musicians, and one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. And we were talking about it a lot while we were building the prototype for his 8-string guitar. And he thought it was a cool idea, and he contributed a lot to it. So all credit to Andy. Anyway, I think the idea's got potential, and you would think over the last few years, I would have been doing some mock-ups or I would have done some proof of concepts before I do this, but not this guy. No, this guy's just going to go for it. On February 14th of 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft turned its cameras around and pointed right back at the sun and took a picture of planet Earth. That picture is the inspiration for the look of this guitar. I could go on about it, but I'd rather let Carl Sagan tell you about it.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam.
So we're going to start off with this Wenge neck, and at this point it's no surprise. It's become my favorite neck wood of all time. But we're going to add to it a Wenge body. This thing it weighs a ton, so I'm going to have to figure out a way of lightening this thing up. But I think it's going to be a perfect backdrop of space. For a fretboard, we're going to have this golden burl, and I think it's perfect to stand in there for that sunbeam that the pale blue dot sits in. And for that pale blue dot, finally, we have this piece of ash that we're going to stain a beautiful light blue. And shout out to Bonehead for his inspiration on this. Last year, he did this combination of Wenge with ash, and what can I say? It just works. So going with this day and night theme, sort of, I think a good transition piece for the trim is this beautiful purple heart. For those of you who don't know, purple heart wood is actually purple. This is not stained purple. This is not painted purple. This tree grows purple. I swear Mother Nature's a stoner. So as much as this guitar is about the sound, I plan on making this one of my most challenging builds. So the woodworkers will get their fair share of challenge here as well. So about the pale blue dot and Carl Sagan, a lot of influence into this guitar and into these episodes is going to be from Carl Sagan. Anyway, if you haven't caught Cosmos by Carl Sagan, you should. It's really amazing. So here's the thing, in that series, Sagan uses this kind of sort of spaceship in order to explore the cosmos, right, and to take you around the universe. One of the things I've realized about the guitar is that that's kind of always been my spaceship. It's always been my way of exploring my cosmos. All roads always led back to the guitar. So let's just think of Carl Sagan as kind of sort of our spirit animal during our little adventure here. So doing this exercise really helped me visualize the guitar. For example, I was going to do a 22 fret, but looking at the shape of it now, I realized that a 24 fret is going to be more appropriate. So in our first episode, we're going to take a deep dive into turning this icon, this spirit animal, into an actual guitar design. It's going to be a different way of designing, but I think you'll see why I never committed to a shape. So before we wrap up here, one quick thing about the episodes. I'm going to keep them around 15 minutes. I'm going to try to keep them as short as I can, although there's a lot to cover. That means there's going to be a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor, and it might be interesting stuff. So if you want to see that stuff, I'm going to put them up, but I'm not going to tag them with the Great Guitar Build-Off tag. So anyways, if you want to see those things, just like and subscribe. So anyway, to all my fellow builders, good luck. You don't need it because you're all badasses. Wish me luck because I need it. And good luck on your builds, guys. Peace out.